Good afternoon, everybody, and it's your fellow captain here. I've had a lot of people asking me about doing more cooking videos. I've said I was going to do them, and then I haven't done them. So this is what I'm doing, guys. I'm going to do some cooking videos. I mean, it's something that, anyone can do. But I mean, something like if you're a single parent or a co-parent, or just, a man who's not really used to cooking. You're not it's not your thing. This is a good way, guys. I'll teach you guys how to do some really cool, simple things. Some might be a little more difficult, but that's how we roll with things. I'll show you guys how to make some cool little meals and stuff that you can do for your girlfriend, your kids, whoever. Today, I'm going to do steak bites with chopped up potatoes. I mean, it's cubed up potatoes. You can do mushrooms if you want to. It's all depending on what you like. Usually, I think the recipe that I usually used to do was steak bites and mushrooms, but my fellow co-parent does not like mushrooms, so I omit the mushrooms and instead I do potatoes. What you're really going to need is just get some steak or cubed meat. Depending on, some places will have cubed meat for you. Go to a butcher shop, you can add some cube up stuff. If not, if you buy yourself a couple sirloin steaks, just kind of cut them up into cubes, make them look kind of like this, just cubed up meat. What you do then, you get it all together. What you're also going to need is you're going to need some garlic powder. You're going to need some garlic salt. I love garlic salt. It's not actually something that maybe some people might use, but you're supposed to have salt in the recipe, and I kind of figure why not do garlic salt. Just don't use a lot, obviously. And also, usually, I put parsley on this when you're doing it. It already has parsley in it. If you get the Lowry's version of garlic salt, which is like an Italian up north staple, already has the parsley in it, so gives you a little extra parsley to it. Also, you're going to need some black pepper, and then obviously you're going to need your potatoes and some Worcestershire sauce, and you're going to need about 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So now what you're going to do, guys, we'll start with the potatoes. You're going to take the potatoes and you're going to cut them up. So usually what I like to do is you cut them like this, right down the middle, so it's even. And then you cut them down this way. You cut them long, long, long. And what you do is as you're cutting them, you kind of try to keep them together so that they make, and then once you got them together, once you've cut them, you can take them and kind of reform them into a potato. And then what you're going to do is you're going to just cut them right across. So you can just do one easy cut, not having to be cut. That's just kind of one of the things I like to do. It's just a quicker thing. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, don't do it that way. Do it, the simple cut way. That's the way you want to do it. It's just fine, guys, to do it that way. But talking about cutting, kind of made me think of, what was it, a couple days ago? Aiden was asking me about Wolverine and what he can cut with his adamantium claws. And I was like, well, he's like, can he cut anything? I said, pretty much, yeah, he can cut pretty much anything with adamantium claws. And he was asking, well, can he cut other adamantium? I said, I don't think so. I think adamantium can't cut adamantium. But then he asked a question, which, a question we've all posed to ourselves at some point, when we first get into comic books, if you're a comic book fan. And that is, how did, Wolverine get, if this stuff is so unbreakable, how did he get onto his bones, how to get the claws and stuff like that. So I explained to Aiden, what happened is they melted down because it does have stuff a melting point. Like all things, adamantium may be unbreakable, but it does have a melting point. I told them they melted it down. What they then did is they injected it into Wolverine's body, and it melded to his bones and everything, and to his, at the time, before he was the Wolverine that we know, had bone claws. And it melded to his claws, and then that's how they became the razors that they are. I also explained, since it can be melted down, what could have happened if they had wanted to, if it was a case of, say, when someone didn't have bone claws, you could have just melted it down, poured it into a mold, and then kind of fused it to his hands, and almost a deal, or fused, like, make a weapon out of it. You can do it that way. So it's not unbreakable as isn't unbreakable, but it can be melted and made into things. Which made more sense to him because he was kind of like, oh, okay, now I understand how something that's so unbreakable can be made into someone else's parts of their bodies. But got our potatoes cut up. Now what we're going to do is, this is a little trick, some people know, some people might not know, is what you do after you cut potatoes up, whether you're making French fries, potato chips, making roasted potatoes, take them and you're gonna put them in a bowl of water and just let the water keep running over them. And what happens is it starts letting all of the starches out. And when the starches come out, it makes them crisp up a lot better. That's why you get crispy fries, you get crispy chips. Getting those starches out helps it crisp up a lot quicker. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over here and we are going to, I already have cut up some potatoes already. So I already have some in a bowl ready. I'm gonna just pour those guys in. I'm messing up a little bit, that's fine. I mean, that's all part of everything. If you get them in a bowl, and you start running some cold water over them. And what you can see, as you hopefully can see how the water's kind of like a little murky there and stuff. And you kind of wish you usually what they call agitate them, kind of like stir them up a little bit, get them moving around, and you'll see like the water gets more and more murky. That is fine, guys. That is the starches coming out. That is the good stuff. That is, you know, it's good. When it starts to clear up, then you know you've gotten to a point where it's good and it shouldn't need to be stirred up anymore, and it's gotten all its starches out. That's like that's your good stuff. That's when it's starting to get to the point where you are getting it so it's gonna be nice and crispy for you guys. Nice crispy things. So now we got our potatoes going. We got our meat ready cut up because I thankfully know someone who cuts up the meat for me. But I mean, it's not like a hard thing. He just happened to have some, I guess you could say, he's cutting up some steaks and he's like, hey, I'll cut you up some cubes and stuff like that. So he cut them up for me. So I got that going. Now what you're gonna want to do is you want to put your meat into like a bowl or Ziploc bag, you know, whatever you got. You get that meat in there. Oh yeah, looking good. Just make sure, you know, don't try not to get too much of the blood in there. Get it all together. And then what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna start adding your ingredients, and you can, like, you know, either just put the ingredients in and start making your stuff if you want to, or I like to let it sit for a little while, let it kind of, as you could say, meld. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your 2 tablespoons of melted butter. You're gonna pour it all over the steak. Yeah, oh, look at that steak, it's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then you're gonna wanna take about a teaspoon probably, a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. And you're gonna wanna put that in there. See, go a little teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. Or some people might say Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire. Or some people, Worcestershire. What you're then going to want to do is you're going to get about maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder, because you're going to do garlic salt and garlic powder, so you don't want to do too much garlic powder because you're going to have the garlic salt in there as well. And then you want to do about another 1/4 of the garlic salt. Because, and I said this is already got the salt in it, so you don't have to worry about adding salt. That's kind of why I like to do it. Kind of kicks out a step, and it gives you a little extra garlicky flavor. There's a little more in there because there wasn't a full 1/4. There we go. Pepper is kind of more of a taste preference. I mean, I'd say at least 1/4. I think pepper would probably be your best bet. But I mean, it's all depending on what your preference is. Some people like more peppery, some people don't. Another thing you want, which I totally forgot, is you want to put some minced garlic in there. And I'd say probably maybe like 2 teaspoons of like minced garlic. Let's see. Get my little fridge here. Oh, in the back. And as you can see, I like my garlic, so we got a lot of it. Yeah, but I mean about 2 teaspoons of the minced garlic. I mean, if you want to do fresh minced garlic, you can do that way too. However you want. I'm just so used to this point doing this because this is how usually when I make pasta, I use this stuff. Or not pasta, when I make meatballs, it's just an easier thing. So now you got all that stuff together. What you're going to want to do is you want to mix it all up and get it all melding together. Kind of just, you got gloves, you're using gloves, you want to use your hands, just get it all mixed up. Get it all together, nice, yeah. Give it a little massagey, as they would say. There we go. Got that all together. You want to maybe, I sometimes, it's just the way I like kind of cook, I guess you could say. Sometimes I give a little because you massage it all together. Give it a little extra on top, a little extra garlic salt, a little extra garlic powder. Just kind of give a little extra something. Maybe a little shake or two of Worcestershire, just so we kind of, it's on top now. Those molds mixed in. So we got our potatoes going under the water. We got this mixed up. Gonna let this sit for a while. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add it to an air fryer. Now you can do this with a frying pan if you wanted to. It's all your choice. I like to use the air fryer because it kind of helps clean up a little bit. You don't have to keep using the fryer, and you got the pan, and all the oils get everywhere and stuff like that. I like to just do it that way. What we're gonna do is we're gonna let this guy sit, and when I come back, we're gonna get this stuff all into that air fryer. And you guys are gonna see it's starting to fry up and get real nice and golden brown, and potatoes getting nice. And I'll show you guys what the finished product looks like. We've had our potatoes on and off, getting cold water run over them and agitating. As you can see, the water is starting to look a lot clearer. You actually can see the potatoes. It's not that foggy murkiness. It's because all the starch has been run out. So I've been kind of running the water, letting the water run out, give it a little agitation. And after a while, all that starch should start to go out, and that's how the water should start looking nice and clear, because that means, oh, there's no more starch. All right, well, we got our air fryer preheating. So now what we're gonna do is you're gonna take your potatoes, you're gonna take your beef, and we're gonna put them all in there, and we're gonna get them all started and getting them going. So we're gonna take our meat mixture, our potatoes and everything, open it up. We're gonna get it all in there. I might have to do it in 2 batches, because I think I did a lot more than I probably really should have, but you kind of want to get at least a nice even layer in there. Potatoes, meat. And what you're going to do is you're going to put it in, let it cook for, I don't know, say 15-20 minutes, let it go. I mean, just keep checking back on it, see that it gets done to what your doneness is. And obviously, guys, when this is all done, I'll show you what my finished product looks like, and hopefully you guys enjoy the recipe, and hopefully you guys will make it. Alright guys, well, here is the finished product. Steam, look at how good that looks. Brown all over the potatoes and the steak and everything. Ooh, getting a little fogged up there. Whew. Getting a little foggy. I find it best, guys, to take a spoon and get it out with a spoon, which seems kind of weird, but you'll find out that on the bottom of this pan is a lot of juices and stuff. Because, you have the steak cooking, you got your potatoes, which, make sure you put before you even put your potatoes in with the steak. Let them sit in a colander for like a couple minutes, and then dump them in like a paper towel lined plate, so that you can get all the water off, because you don't want that excess water that's going to be on those potatoes, man. But look at that. That's gorgeous, man. That's absolutely gorgeous. I say, kids should love that. As I said, if you want it to be like a little more done, you can put it in for a little bit longer. If you want a little less done, you can put a little less. As I said, I usually like for 15-20 minutes. That gives about what you'll want. Once you get everything out, what you're going to want to do is you get maybe like another tablespoon of melted butter. You take it and just pour it all over it. Make it all nice and buttery and juicy. And then you put a little extra parsley on top, make it look pretty. If you want to put a little extra garlic salt, you can do that as well. It's all depending on what your preference is. I love a little bit of garlic, as you can tell, a lot of garlic on my stuff. But yeah, guys, that is what you get finished with. Gorgeous, gorgeous steak bites and potatoes, guys. A really good hearty meal, and it's quick and easy, pretty much. I mean, you're just kind of always part is waiting for those potatoes to get the starch out, and you could do that like a step before, guys. You could do that the night before if you wanted to. Just stick them in, a bowl of water, leave it in the fridge. Make sure you've at least agitated a little bit, so that it's not just sitting in water or just in general. But that's all you gotta do, guys. So hope you guys all enjoyed this cooking with the captain, and if you guys actually enjoyed it, as I've found some people have, guys, let me know, and I will post a heck of a lot more cooking videos, because I think it's awesome, and I'd love to teach some of you single parents out there, some co-parents, some guys who maybe not be apt at cooking, how to cook, and we can also have some fun together. All right, guys, well, you guys have a super day, and I'll see you guys all later.